Hello everybody, welcome back for another video. Hope you're all doing well and that you are all having a great day to start things off. Ripple's global head of banking, Marjan Delatine, says that 10 financial institutions are now using XRP to power cross-border payments. At the Paris Blockchain Week Summit, Delatine talked about the adoption of the digital asset and why smaller financial firms are more likely to be early adopters of crypto. They said, corresponding banking is a very complicated process and creates lots of costs. Most of these costs are related to management of the liquidity, and this means billions or trillions of money trapped in the account in order to move funds globally. And I think the way that we see the use of crypto as asset, in this case XRP, which is a big product which is live, is around how you can source on-demand liquidity. This has a big influence, especially for not necessarily big banks because they have obviously a different range of capital, but smaller institutions that pay a lot for maintaining capital in the destination account in a nostro-vostro relationship, as we call it. They are struggling actually with these costs, especially with the regulator requirements. And then it goes on a bit further and it says, yeah, we know that XRapid launched of October of last year after many, many months of everyone kind of waiting. It says a total of 13 companies have publicly revealed they are using or plan to adopt XRapid in the future. The latest addition is the Euro XM Bank, which says it plans to use the technology to move money across 80 different countries. Here's a list, I believe, right now of the companies that we do know who are going to be using XRP. For those who, or rather XRapid, apologies, for those who are not looking at the screen, they are Euro XM Bank, Bittrex, Bitso, Coins.ph, Bitstamp, Qualix, Mercury FX, Catalyst, SBI Virtual Currencies, IDT, Via Americas, SendFriend, and BitTrue. And if I'm not mistaken, I believe, oh boy, which ones? I think it's Qualix and Via Americas that are actually using it right now. I know there's two of them that are using it to send money, I think from the US to Mexico, if I'm not mistaken. So apparently then there are multiple other ones who are going to be flipping the switch. I assume, one can only assume, sometime during 2019, and still, at least to me, waiting for the big 24 that we were promised sometime in 2018. I hope that that still ends up happening. That's not me being negative. It's more like we have not heard from Mr. Garlinghouse in quite a bit of time as far as the 24 banks or the multiple dozens of banks that he said that we were going to see by the end of 2019 that are going to be using XRP/XRapid. We've heard very little from the Ripple team, and we have updates here and there, what have you, but no big news like we used to have before, where they were announcing weekly that they had acquired a new banking partnership. Next up, this one's actually kind of funny. Intercontinental Exchange, or ICE, purportedly took advantage of the crypto winter to purchase crypto assets at a discount for its institutional cryptocurrency trading platform known as Bakkt. This was reported by Reuters yesterday. ICE's chief executive officer, Jeremy Sprecher, reportedly told Reuters that it's been really helpful that the cryptocurrency industry sort of went into what they call a winter. 2018 was a bear year for digital currencies. In mid-November, crypto markets suffered sharp double-digit losses, bringing Bitcoin below 5,600 for the first time that year. Bakkt, which was originally set to roll out in January 2019, subsequently delayed the launch due to the ongoing consultations with the United States Commodities Futures Trading Commission. In early February, Sprecher said that he expects Bakkt to launch later in 2019. In the recent interview with Reuters, Sprecher said that all the time ICE has been hiring on talent, including through acquisitions. It's pretty much the last couple of weeks. It's been very, very nice. The people from the New York Stock Exchange have not let us down. That sounds a bit too intense. They've been giving us an enormous amount of information as to exactly what is happening with their platform, regardless of the delays that have been happening because of the CFTC within the USA. They've been hiring multiple people, multiple companies. We also just had news of, where is it? It's not anywhere here. Anyway, we had news about a day or two ago that they had acquired another company. Can't remember what it's called. Bupo, can't remember. Anyway, the point is that they finally got a custody company, which is what the CFTC said that they had a problem with. I'm expecting Bakkt to launch sometime in 2019. I'm hoping for the summertime. The CFTC, I want to say they can't delay forever, but Fool me once, shame on you. It's nice to hear. I mean, rather, it's funny that while the market was going down, all they did was use that time to just accumulate more, which then leads me to believe all those huge transactions that we were seeing floating around back and forth of like what was it like? It was like 30 million XRP and like 15,800 Bitcoin were like flowing to these like really weird addresses. I'm pretty sure they've been accumulating a very large amount. Only time will tell. That's going to be the most important part, because especially as regulation ends up picking up a lot more, and these companies and institutions are required to let us know exactly not exactly how much they have, but if they're backing up other assets from them or whatever the case might be on their platforms. At some point, we're going to have numbers for exactly how many Bitcoin that these institutions have. We only know from a handful of people, institutions, corporations. We know that, is it Grayscale? I think Grayscale holds more than 1% of all the Bitcoin in the world. The Winklevoss twins, I think, have over 200,000. What are the other ones? Or rather, one can assume that the New York Stock Exchange and or the NASDAQ and or Fidelity probably are holding also significant amounts as well, which then leads us to the other thing about there not being enough for everybody in the world. Like, it's not even a matter of there not being enough Bitcoin for millionaires in the world. It's just like people in general. Like, there are multiple figures on this planet who hold 5 figures, low 6 figures worth of, or rather in Bitcoin. So the future is going to be very interesting. Yeah. Next up, according to the source BitInfo charts, Bitcoin-related tweets are at their lowest level in 5 years. The figure has drawn ire from cryptocurrency speculators that the world has lost interest in Bitcoin, even though they really have not. Here's the actual chart right here. One Twitter user, Revan Rook, made the following conclusion. He said there were 16,000 tweets yesterday, but roughly 30,000 Bitcoin tweets per day in 2015. The world, outside of crypto Twitter, isn't paying attention to Bitcoin. Although Rook's claims have some merit, there's also a ton of evidence to suggest that the world is, in fact, paying close attention to Bitcoin without even reading through the rest of it. We know that the usage of Bitcoin and the blockchain and everything else and the amount of money that's flowing through all of the crypto networks are reaching all-time highs, even when the market is going down. One of the really interesting things, I don't know if it has it in this. Yeah, here we go right here. A lot of people figured out that there's an actual direct correlation, which is insanely weird, to the price of Bitcoin, to the amount of people who are actually searching for it. If you look at the charts from like 2018 is when we started like slowly fall, or rather rapidly falling down. We also had 2 jumps upward. And that was exactly the time as well when the prices were going back up, when apparently more people were also Googling the word Bitcoin. It's going to happen again. It's been happening nonstop. Just because people or your friends in your family or other people around the world aren't Googling Bitcoin doesn't mean that there's not an enormous amount of stuff happening behind the scenes. This is why I still believe a lot of people who are going to FOMO into the market are going to have a very difficult time when they realize that they are not going to be able to get what they want. That's kind of the nicest way of saying it. Speaking of Grayscale, Grayscale Investments is weighing in on the gold versus Bitcoin debate. It's 2 Satoshis, drop the bars, buy the bits, and the dip. That's kind of tacky. The digital currency group offshoot has launched a drop gold campaign that encourages investors to ditch the old asset for its digital counterpart, which is known as a Bitcoin. Everyone loves a good piece of jewelry, or piece of gold jewelry, but is gold really the best investment in today's digital world? This is the rhetorical question that the website challenges its readers to consider. Gold represents the past. It continues, saying that Nixon dropped the gold standard that backed the US dollar back in the 70s. The statement, accompanied by a caricature of the Watergate president, is tinged with irony. Nixon nixing the gold standard officially cemented the US dollar as a fiat currency, and this has become one of the primary examples Bitcoin advocates cite when discussing why the cryptocurrency matters. Here's the actual website over here. It is dropgold.com, for those who are wondering. Is a little interesting. There's like a lot of, pies and charts, and he dropped the bar of gold. Here's the actual commercial. I can't show it to you. Copyright, blah, 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 etc., etc. This is why I said dropgold.com. Not affiliated. You should all know that by now, but for those who don't, not affiliated. Just thought it was kind of interesting. The commercial's kind of intense. There's a lot of people like fighting each other and trying to move pieces of gold that are far too heavy, and then 2 people realize that they have Bitcoin, and it's like, yeah, we don't have to do all that stuff. So if you're interested in seeing a cryptocurrency commercial, definitely go forward and watch it. Maybe even send it to a friend who's obsessed with gold, because for those who are wondering or don't understand the exact correlation between Bitcoin and gold, the idea is that gold is too heavy. You can't send it around the world as quickly. There was something that we had a photo of a couple of days ago where somebody was showing what I think it was like $16 billion or something like that worth of gold. And the Bitcoin was just on a hard drive. It was size of your finger, and therefore it could be moved around the world very quickly, fastly. That's not a word. And whatever the case might be. So the idea is that eventually when the price of Bitcoin starts to go up, people will realize that they're not getting the same amount of gains in price and profit as they would have gotten in Bitcoin. Therefore, they will start to drop gold and sell it, and that money from gold will flow into the cryptocurrency space, more specifically into Bitcoin. And this is why we get those multi-trillion-dollar price predictions when it comes to the price of a Bitcoin. To kind of finish things up, institutional investors are increasingly open to finding a place for digital assets in their portfolios, suggested by new research. A survey conducted by Fidelity Investments and published on Thursday found that already around 22% of investors have some exposure to the digital asset, while 40% say they are open to taking the plunge in the next 5 years. However, for them, they don't realize that it is going to be way too late. I'm excited. That's going to be fun. For those of you who have, I was going to say for those of you who have friends and family, I assume it's going to be everyone. For those of you who know people who don't expect to get into the cryptocurrency market anytime soon, tell me, please, in 5 years, remember how that works out for them when they're trying to buy 1/1000th of a Bitcoin and it is out of their reach. Anyway, of those that have exposure, most investments were made in the last 3 years, aim to gain an understanding of how institutions, financial advisors, and investors perceive digital assets generally. And as part of an investment portfolio, the survey also found that over half, 57% of people prefer to invest in digital assets directly, logically, while 72% favor investment products that hold digital assets. Kind of weird. Me, myself, I prefer to hold them. I like the idea, or rather, I think it's cool that things are pegged to the price of other things, but I'd rather just hold the thing that they're pegged to. Seems a bit more logical. 57% said that they prefer to buy investment products that hold digital asset firms. Why not? For the research, the company said it polled over 400 U.S. institutional investors, meaning 400 very rich people, including pensions, family offices, crypto and traditional hedge funds, and financial advisors, as well as endowments, and found, my goodness, like these are these make up wealth around the world. Like they pretty much were asking some of the largest, richest people in the entire world, and people who do like gosh, what's it called? Like when you not even wealth advisors, like they make sure that your family remains wealthy for like generations. That's completely insane. They said we've seen a maturation of digital interest in digital interest. We've seen a maturation of interest in digital assets from early adopters like crypto hedge funds to traditional institutional investors like family offices and endowments. This was said by Tom Jessup, president of Fidelity Digital Asset SM. More institutional investors are engaging with digital assets either directly or through service providers as the potential impact of blockchain technology on financial markets, new and old, becomes more readily apparent. Without reading. My English is all over the place today. The point is, we know that they're in the space, and I think something that really gets me personally is I want to know how many. I want to know how much money they've spent. We know that there's been billions of dollars that was buying up cryptocurrency last year, but I still want exact numbers. I'll probably never get my numbers. I think that's the saddest part of all of this. It's very first world. How much of a first world problem is that I won't be able to have proper metrics to figure out how many people own, or rather rich people, how much cryptocurrency they ended up buying, because I still have a very strong feeling, especially with all the over-the-counter buying. There's probably, and I don't mean this as a joke, there's probably not as much Bitcoin floating around out there as you might believe. I don't think there's that much Ether. I don't think there's that much XRP. With all the stuff that's been going on, like at any given time in this world, we know that there's around, 17 million Bitcoin have been mined. We know that around 4 to 6 million are lost forever. And we can calculate, there's probably realistically anywhere from like 1 to 4 million Bitcoin maybe floating around. There's also been tons of other news that we've had during the rest of the week that all these people are like also mining intensely, and a lot of people aren't selling anymore because they're expecting the price to go up. Interesting times ahead. At the moment, the market is going up slightly. Yeah, it is. Earlier today, the price of Bitcoin was 5,600 something. It is currently at 5,820. The 24-hour high on livecoinwatch.com is 59.15, which means it was $85 away from hitting the magical $6,000 number. I would love if we could do that by the end of today. I'll even give it to the end of this weekend. I feel like we are very close. I feel like there's no reason why we should not pass 6,000. 6,000 being the number that all the analysts are saying. When we pass that number, it is a psychological barrier that'll allow us to, or rather, we will have indications at 6,000 that we are in a bullish trend or a bullish market, and that the well-known bear market has ceased to exist. Right. Let's all hope, fingers crossed, that something does happen, because I'm a little tired of the bear market. I think 16 months has, I think it's enough. I think I learned my lesson. Anyway, I hope you all enjoyed. Hope you all are having a great day, a great morning, a great afternoon, a great evening, wherever you are, wherever you might be. I don't think any specific coins are outperforming any other ones. It seems like the very top of the list seems to be doing very well. Like, yeah, none of the other coins are doing exceptionally well at the moment. It's just Cosmos is up 10%. Why not? Monero's up for some reason as well. EOS is up the most. So is EOS, Bitcoin Cash, Litecoin, and more or less Bitcoin doing very well. Ethereum and XRP are kind of lagging behind, with XRP doing a bit more. But we also had news about a day or two ago that apparently the direct correlation in price between XRP and Bitcoin has subsided, is no more. I don't know. Kind of is what it is. Anyway, as always, a very special thank you to my Patreon supporters. They are Professor Wally from Gunbot University, SC Verzely Fine Art, Brady Neal, Del Doug, Jared Schneider, Wise Night Owl, Shaolin Fried Rice, Galaboa Snake, Crypto Joe, Carl Bershinoff, singer-songwriter Mike Savitz, Rai Rai, Yasha Harari, Amy Starsheen, Jeffrey Ramsey, Crypnotic, couldn't do it in one breath, Crypto Artist, Coldy 3D, Nicholas, One Earth, One Piece, One Love, Setsuna, Nick Kanaya, Richie Rich the Third, RF Dusty, Cody, Vlad the Impaler, Paxis, Jeremy Fox, Jim Gardner, Minting Coins, Arthur Yaku, Nick Mangelavori, and Anthony Charles did it that time. Thank you all once again for watching and listening. Thank you all of you for your support. And yeah, I'll talk to you all soon. See ya.